Comment down below what you're gonna be for Halloween so I can steal your idea. Here are the top 10 real haunted locations in history you don't wanna find. Number 10, St. George's Church. Kicking off our spooky list, we're gonna head to the Czech Republic. St. George's Church was originally built way back in 1352. That's a long time ago. And it's seen many dark days, of course. The building itself was destroyed many times by fires, century after century, yet it somehow survived all of them. One of the worst timed events ever happened in 1968, and this is what makes people think it's haunted. More than fair. The roof partially collapsed during a funeral service, and after that point, everyone was convinced that the church was haunted, and they refused to enter and do any more services inside. More than fair. That's the worst timing ever. I'm thinking of, I Think You Should Leave, season 2, Coffin Drop. I'm thinking of that sketch right now. That's gonna be in my head all day. The location is still a hotspot. Since 2012, many visitors entered the cursed church. Would you go in? Would you do it? I would, probably. I'd poke my hand in a little, see what happens. I'm terrified of ghosts. I wouldn't go near that. Number 9, Edinburgh Castle. Scotland's capital city. I've been to Scotland a handful of times. It's one of my favorite places to visit. All those pubs, ooh, what a good time. Wish I could remember. It's got a castle, I've heard. You got a castle over there. Apparently, Edinburgh Castle, I of course have to visit every time I go. It's a calf workout that I look forward to, personally. Now, some of these parts in the castle are chilling, because it's, it's freezing cold in Scotland, but sometimes you can feel the haunt in the air. These rooms date back to more than 900 years ago, so these walls have seen a few fortnights. Sightings are pretty popular. Sightings of a colonial prisoner from the American Revolutionary War, that's pretty common, so that's terrifying to hear. And as well as French prisoners from the 7 Years' War. You're just gonna see ghosts of prisoners that might pop up or photobomb you. That's really, I'm terrified talking about this. If you're thinking about visiting, perhaps the ghost of the wandering dog in the castle cemetery will convince you to buy a ticket. I love Scotland, it's beautiful. The air just smells nice. Got a big old hill too. Number 8, Almadam. Almadam is about 40 miles southeast of Dubai. This ghost village was built back in the 1970s and it was deserted shortly after. It's beautiful, but legend has it the land is full of shape-shifting spirits, you may have heard of them, called jinns. Now these spirits are responsible for scaring folks away from the town. Yeah, that ought to do it. Now it's tough to tell whether the spirits have since departed. I mean, that would be ideal, but Almadam still looks haunted and it still is abandoned, so yeah, my vote is probably still haunted. Dunes that partially swallow rows of houses and a mosque, it all just sits there, stuck in history. Now these spirits are still living in the 70s, so who knows? This is their home, not ours, so let's just leave this one alone. It looks like something out of Tim Burton's Beetlejuice, you know what I mean? All the sand, just barren. It's haunting, so jarring to look at. Or that one level from Mario Odyssey that's just, sand and nothing else. Number 7, Gunnuhver Iceland. This one has heavy history behind it. Holy smokes. Now, sometimes places are haunted by multiple ghosts, past prisoners, while others have, just one up story. Iceland's Gunnuhver mud pool. Perhaps you visited. It sounds kind of, nice when I say it out loud. It's one of the largest and haunted. Apparently, the pool was named after Gunna, a woman who lived in this area of the peninsula 400 years ago. Sadly, Gunna passed away of starvation, but her spirit apparently came back home and killed the current landlord and his wife. It was terrifying. That's a big yikes. The town called in a priest to take care of that issue, but of course, some visitors today claim to see that same ghost of one Gunna around the very same boiling hot mud pool. One Gunna sounds like a rapper. I don't know why I said that. Ghost or no ghost, I'm not going anywhere. This sounds like an expensive hazard to be near. Anything boiling or muddy? I'm like, no, that's a hazard. That's hot. Number 6, RMS Queen Mary. Heading over to the beautiful Long Beach, California. Here we go. I'll tell you right now, I would never spend a night in this hotel. Nope. I would rather sleep in Stephen King's 1408 hotel room than this RMS Queen Mary situation. During World War II, the ship was in operation briefly, and then it served as a luxury ocean liner from 1936 to 1967. Now, during this time, a killing happened. A sailor was also crushed by a door, very tragic, and a couple people had drowned in the pool. So it's a lot of bad stuff going on here. It's like the back of a DVD of Ghost Ship. You're like, what am I reading? This is terrifying. Cut to 1967, Long Beach purchased that ship and turned it into a hotel, a flotel, dare I say, where now it still sits today. Would you visit here? Would you spend the night in this haunted Titanic? Let alone, I wouldn't even step a foot on the boat, no way. Boats scare me in general, let alone ghosts on a boat. Number 5, haunted ballroom. This one I would for sure check out. I would definitely moonwalk in a haunted ballroom. Are you kidding me? This is like the first 8 minutes of that Thriller music video. This house, if you want to call it that, this mansion slash castle, was built between 1871 and 1887 for a New Zealand politician, William Larnach. And like every other Disney castle, you need to have a 3,000 square foot ballroom. Yeah, no friends required, just here's the big ballroom, good luck. Larnach gave his 21-year-old daughter a ballroom for her birthday. Yeah, here you go, Kate, now go make thousands of friends. Good luck. Would you want a ballroom, like as a gift? That feels like the worst gift ever. What happened to ponies, Dad? Jeez. Kate sadly passed away at age 26 due to typhoid cancer, but death does not get in the way for Kate. No, the spirit of the youngin' is still said to haunt the ballroom and still dance around. So, beautiful on one hand, so terrifying on the other. A haunted ballroom ghost? That's the scariest movie I can imagine. Number 4, the Snedeker House. This is a classic Ed and Lorraine Warren ghost story. They have a few out there, probably too many, but we'll see. It was the main inspiration, believe it or not, to The Haunting in Connecticut. We've seen that movie. It's a classic. It's a good banger right there. Ed and Lorraine got a call from the owners in real life of the home saying that their son was experiencing personality changes. Now at first, maybe you'd laugh at that call. Maybe he's just growing up. Maybe he's a bit moody, whatever. Now this was not the case at all. He wasn't just a moody teen growing up, you know, shut up dad. That wasn't that here. These changes were violent in nature, and on top of that, a pretty obvious other issue, they were seeing apparitions in their home. Son's acting odd, and we also have ghosts, so Ed and Lorraine were of course interested. Why not? Old house in Southington, Connecticut. Alan and Carmen Snedeker then found these tools, old tools used by morticians in their house. Yeah, their home was once a funeral parlor. Fun fact to find out after you've moved in, I guess. That's the worst thing to find out. One day when Carmen was mopping the floor, it apparently turned blood red and began to smell foul. So Ed and Lorraine came to one conclusion, and that was demons. The house was full of them. Yeah, that ought to do it. You start mopping, all of a sudden there's blood everywhere. You're like, well, that's it. It's your home now. Enjoy. Let it dry, and then, yeah, pine sols in the cupboard. Brick legs. Number 3. 455A Sackett Street. Not to be confused with 221B Baker Street, that's where Sherlock Holmes lives. 455A Sackett Street is a haunted apartment in Brooklyn. Yeah, it's not very majestic, not a lot of eyeglasses. Imagine moving to the big city, a big city that's known for being loud, and on top of that, now you have ghosts. Good luck getting a wink of sleep. One lady who grew up in the apartment experienced these hauntings herself. Apparently fires would start randomly, loud bangs would happen in other rooms, all around just bad energy, which given what I just said seems more than fair. Sightings of apparitions were common, but it was always the same female looking spirit. Number 2, cursed stadium. Can a sports team be cursed? I mean, I live in Toronto, home of the Maple Leafs, so our last win was like 1743, I believe. I don't know. But the Chicago Cubs curse, maybe you've heard of this. That was a huge deal for a very long time. The Chicago Cubs curse comes from 1945, when a man named Bill Sionis, nicknamed Billy Goat, great nickname, he was kicked out of a Chicago Cubs game. He actually didn't even get into the game 4 to begin with. Was he too intoxicated, or did he bring a live goat with him to the game? Yep, the latter. That's why he got kicked out. Bill brought with him his pet goat for good luck. So, after the staff said, of course, no, you can't enter the 1945 World Series with a live goat, get out, he then cursed the club over and over on his way out, saying the Cubs ain't gonna win no more. And that was the game that they dropped the ball, pun intended. The Detroit Tigers won, and the curse of the Billy Goat then kicked off for real. It got so out of hand that come 1994, that long later, the Cubs had lost 12 games in a row, their worst home start in history. So Sam Sionis went to Wrigley Field, everybody was chanting to, finally let the goat in, and then the Cubs won 5-2. So, I don't know. It's kind of proven that there was a little bit of a curse here. Number 1, the Borley Rectory. This house was originally built back in 1862. It was a house built for the rector of Borley, but after a fire in 1939, it was of course never the same. It was finally demolished after 1944, but before its final days, the Daily Mirror printed a lot of history about this house, just working for BuzzFeed back in the 40s. Harry Price, a paranormal researcher at the time, reported sightings of a ghost nun or a ghost car that would often drive by. Both probably so distracting to your day-to-day duties, as well as footsteps and unexplained sounds on the property. It was all deemed haunted. A little piece of the haunted home still sits in the Warren Occult Museum today. It's a brick, a nice haunted brick from the Borley Rectory. the rectory, the Borley, just a haunted brick. Hey, come on up to, hey, line on up around the block to see this haunted brick. Yeah, not bad, right? Check out that ghost brick. I've been your host, Taylor McWaters. Those are some real haunted locations that you don't want to find. Comment down below, what's up for Halloween? Where are we partying this year? Where am I going? Am I going to Halloween Haunt up in Toronto? Am I going to Casa Loma, waiting 4 hours in line? You tell me, what's your plans this Halloween? We'll see you next time on Bumblebee. Bye.